A-level biology AQA is all about keywords that you're writing. So we're going to go over translocation, do some exam questions, and then we're going to make sure we're going to write those keywords and try to see, we can add these keywords to our exam to get the marks. It's not about how much you write other keywords there. 4 mark question. Describe how sucrose is transported from the source to the sink. So we have our source here. The source is our leaf that's making the sucrose from photosynthesis. So the sucrose is made, so with it, sucrose is made in the leaf, and the sugar, so which is the sucrose is a sugar, is actively transported into the sieve tube, into the phloem. So the key word here for you to write down is active transport. If you don't mention that, you don't get a mark. So sucrose is transported from the source to the sieve tube or phloem. Either word is fine. There's a phloem here, you can say sieve tube. Key thing is active transport. That's the first thing. Now, companion cell is there. So if you don't have companion cell, you cannot have active transport. Remember, these guys are filled with mitochondria to allow the active transport to occur. Now over here in the sieve tube, we have lots and lots of sucrose. Why? Active loading, okay? So in the sieve tube, okay, there is also water. There's water everywhere, to be honest. So there's water here, and there's lots and lots of sucrose. So what do you think is happening to the water potential in the sieve tube or the phloem? Is it decreasing or increasing? Correct. The water potential in the sieve tube, sieve cell, phloem, whatever you want to say, the water potential is decreasing. Next to the sieve tube, what do you have? Xylem. Good. The xylem has water as well, but the water potential in the xylem is really high now. Why is it high? It's the gradient. It's the difference, because sieve tube is very low. So I made a huge gradient there. So water enters from the xylem into the sieve tube via osmosis. If you don't mention osmosis, don't get a mark. You can describe whatever you want. You have to mention the process name, osmosis, and make sure you write down how you made that gradient. Sucrose is the guy who made that gradient. Anyway, guys, over here, do I have more water coming in or less water? More water, correct. So is the volume increasing or decreasing? Increasing, correct. So the pressure will increase. You don't need to mention turgor pressure, just say pressure. The pressure increases. This causes mass movement. That sucrose starts going downward. Everything goes downwards. Mass movement towards where? Towards the sink, towards maybe the root, towards the root where it's needed for storage, for respiration. And in the source, okay, in the sink, in the sink, we use sucrose for storage or for respiration. Let's go to our next question. Okay, so explain why the pressure in the sieve tube around the source is high. Remember, it's about keyword. If you learnt it once, it's just copy and paste. So check this out. The same thing, look. So we're talking about in the sieve tube, the pressure is high because we have lots of sucrose. So remember, the sieve tube, the only reason why the pressure is high is because we had a lot of water here, a lot of volume. So describe it, how did you get to that point? So you had lots of sucrose, remember, being what? Actively transported, okay, from the source into the phloem or sieve tube. Now this decreases the water potential. Exactly same thing as last time we said. And so water enters via osmosis from the xylem, and that increases the pressure. So let's go to the last question, which is explain why the rate of translocation is higher when the rate of photosynthesis is higher. Very simple. Okay, we have 6 points there. So if you have more photosynthesis, that means in the source you're having more sucrose, which means more sucrose are being actively transported into the sieve tube. If in the sieve tube, if you have lots of sucrose, what are you going to do to the water potential? It's going to go even more down. If there's more down, that means you have a huge gradient. Xylem has very high water potential, sieve very low. You can have lots of water gushing out by osmosis into the sieve tube. If you have a lot of water there, you have huge volume, which means higher pressure. If you have higher pressure, that means faster translocation.